I do most of the talking, so he can talk for a change.
Brad and Amelia from Auckland. We run a plumbing gas fitting, but we do a bit of drainage as well. Team of 6. Three tradesmen and 1 adult apprentice. So Amelia and I are pretty much office bound. Doing a lot of quoting, site visiting.
Brad didn't think he'd like it, but he quite likes being inside in the winter.
I've gotten used to it. A little bit more cuddle happening around the midriff. So enjoying it.
Yep, cool. Is the sound all good, team? Yep. Is it good for the honeys? We'll just take it. Okay, happy days. We're good to go. Cool. Okay. Well, tell us what was life like before you joined the $1 Million Tradie program.
Life was pretty quiet along the front of just being Brad, and I was kind of sitting in the background being a lady of leisure, and I saw all of your emails and I was like, this sounds good, this sounds really good.
So you signed Brad up?
I did. It took me 3 years of getting the emails and backwards and forwards and stuff like that, and then we got to attend one of these as a guest. And
it's right out at the airport.
At the Novotel at the airport. Who else has been to one at the Novotel at the airport? Yeah, we wish to go there. Happy days.
Yeah, we had the best time, and we got talking to Charlotte and Rob, and we didn't know how much it cost. And I said to Brad goes, how much would this cost? And I'm like, I don't know, it's probably like 20 grand or something. And he was like, what the fuck? and so
what did he say when he realised it was more than that?
He was like, no.
What the double fuck?
Do you know what? Carrying on from that story, the price killed it for me. Because I'm one-man band plumber, didn't know much about anything, just knew plumbing, and just went, that just seems absurd. Like, how's that gonna, how are we gonna get that back? It's just, it just made no sense to me. So it took another year, maybe year and a half. We just walked away. That was brilliant, loved it, but I was the
roadblock. He saw the value, but still didn't want to cough up.
And then it was Amelia. We got to a point in our business where I was just sort of happy idling along as a one-man band, and Amelia just sort of gave me the hard word and just said, look, if you don't want to grow, then I'm out. I'm just going to go and do something else. And because she was
going back to Flight Centre.
I'm going back to Flight Centre.
Not out of the relationship, out of the
business.
Just clarify that.
Yeah, absolutely. So she was going to go and get another job, and I didn't want that because I wanted to do it with her. And so just took the plunge, and never looked back. It's just been fantastic.
Yep.
I'll take it all back. It's awesome.
Yeah. Appreciate that, mate. Yeah. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Be able to feed the kids tomorrow. Happy days. Okay, and just in terms of your experience of business, how was that in life? Like, what was life in business like? You've talked about the fact you were kind of happy to bumble along, but...
Yeah, we were just coasting, and all I could see was that if anything happened to Brad, I'd be left with no job and no business and 3 kids. Yep. And I was like, shit, this isn't going to be good. And I always wanted to have business, and Brad didn't really. And I kind of gave him the push along and said, we need to do this for not only ourselves, but our family and things like that too. And we really wanted to grow a business that was going to give other people the opportunity to learn and succeed too. So that was an avenue that we could do that. And with PT, it's been much easier. We were kind of fumbling along the way. We employed an apprentice, and he was amazing and like a kid to us, like one of our oldest kids. And then we kind of stagnated, and it was like, what are we going to do now? And how do we hire? And how do we do it all right? And I didn't realise I was such a perfectionist, and I'm definitely one of those people that if it's not going to be done right, I struggle to actually start and do it. So I've learned along the way that it's better to start and not do it at all.
Yeah, better to be done than perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfection is the enemy of progress.
Yeah.
I'm a reformed perfectionist as well, so
yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about the changes. So what are the biggest changes that you've made along the way?
The biggest changes probably, I would say for me, mindset has been a massive change for me. I still sweat some stuff a bit, but I'm trying not to sweat the small stuff now. And I hate to think we've done a bad job, and if a client rings now and something's wrong, my first thought is, okay, how are we going to fix it? Who cares how much it's going to cost, or how are we going to have time to do it? The first thing is to get that done. And that was always one of our big goals as a business owner, was to make sure tradies have a bit of a bad name and a bit of a bad rap in that. And so we really wanted to change that within the community and make sure that people knew that, you know, we're not perfect and the guys can make mistakes or things fail, and we want people to know that we'll be back there within a day or two to make sure it's fixed. And yeah, we've managed to live by that, and that's really had a huge impact on our growth, really.
Yeah. So what are some of the other changes, like in terms of you know, the way you look at your numbers, what you've done with the team, what you do with all of that sort of stuff as well?
Yeah, Amelia's like I'll be truthfully honest. She drives all of that, and she's constantly talking to me about where we're at. And look, I don't take a lot of notice, so I know that's probably a bad thing. But she keeps me well informed about it. But yeah, it's been that's been massive. Like Amelia's tweaking in the background. It's just our profit margins and everything have just lifted, and it's stayed consistent. That's been the main thing. Like all through COVID, we've managed to sort of double in size through all the lockdowns and everything. We're in Auckland as well, so it's took on more stuff. So,
Lockdown for 7 years.
Oh my God!
The only place worse was Melbourne, unfortunately.
Our 2 hires, we literally hired
in lockdown
2 weeks before, and then we went into lockdown, and then again the next year the same thing happened, and it was just like, fucking cursed.
In a normal world, where that would have freaked me out, but having this community sort of around you and just to bounce questions and answers off, it's just been awesome. So
to make it easier,
it's made it easier just to sort of
to make it easier. It was the marketing plan from last year when we did boot camp. I realised that just doing renovations and a little the odd new build was not going to carry us through, and having all of our eggs in one basket was actually quite dangerous. And so we redid our website, got a marketing company on board who started working on our SEO and AdWords and things like that. And so with that, we've built a really great marketing, that marketing machine webinar, and I watched that and realised this is not my thing. I fucking hate marketing. So, outsource. And so the people that we've got have been awesome, and our organic reach, with leads and things like that has been amazing. We don't pay a massive amount for marketing. We pay this girl and she does all of it, and we sit down once a month and talk about what I want to achieve in the following month, and then she puts it together and it turns up in my inbox and I go through it and I'm like,
happy days.
Yep, hit go.
Google reviews is the other one that's been a big turnaround. That's the last 12 to 18 months, and it's blown up for us, and we're just, most of the calls are coming through Google now, and a lot of them just make comment about the 5 stars and all that.
Like, you've got some sort of voodoo shit going on with your Google reviews.
Because there's we've literally had, they're pretty much all 5 stars. So it's been fantastic. So that stuff,
we do use Review You. So if you want help with your reviews, Review You is amazing. And if someone gives you a thumbs down, it comes straight through to me. And I think we've had 2 of those.
Yeah. So they come to you first before they actually go onto Google.
They don't go to Google.
And you can iron them out with the client, because again, that's our values. We don't want to let anyone down. And it's one of there were nothing as well. One of them was just an honest mistake, with something got charged a little bit too much on it.
The other guy was an old man who's tight ass and didn't. He goes, "You plumbers charge way too much."
So you just come to an agreement with them. We're up for just resolving issues. Like if we have to discount them because they're once in a blue moon, then you just do it. Just find out where their happy place is and move on.
So you've done a lot with the team. So it was, I think, yourself and an apprentice. So you've got what's the team set up now?
We've got like a craftsman or certifying gas fitter, plumber, registered plumber, gas fitter. Wow, I'm saying they've both been caught up. They're 2 21-year-olds. They've been caught up in the whole COVID lockdown thing. So they're more or less, they've done their time. We pay them like plumbers, and they just need to get across the line the last block course. So so a couple of registered gas fitters. One registered gas fitter plumber, one registered plumber, drain layer. I'm the certifying drain layer, and then we've got a certifying gas fitted drain layer.
And
So-
an adult apprentice.
Yeah, so you've done well to
Yep.
find people from a small base. What have you learnt there? What have you put in place to make that happen?
Well, we hired an absolute freaking tool
Yeah.
Um, last year, and it was out of desperation. And even though we'd gone through everything with you guys, and he seemed like a neat guy and fun fit, and he was experienced, and we needed someone to basically take Brad's job. And he lasted 10 days. And out of those 10 days, he literally only turned up to work 3 of them.
Yeah.
And Brad rung me and he goes, Melia, whatever you do, make sure that fucking idiot doesn't come to work tomorrow.
Yeah, he was awful. Like I think he was on. We worked out he was on.
Yeah,
peak.
Yep.
yeah.
But
He
we
had
got
a lot of stuff going on.
that's
in his life
the
as well.
biggest-
It just, man, it was
It was hectic.
It was
It
like
was a
a
huge
tornado
lesson.
that just whipped
So
through.
what did you learn? Because obviously you've got it right now. So what did you learn and what have you done?
to take your time, ask the right questions, make sure you do your background checks and things like that, and figure out who they actually are. Like I did loads of Facebook stalking and talk to merchants and things like that when we, brought on our other 2 guys. You can't put a price on it. Like, I would rather wait 6 months and get the right person than employ another one of those tools, because honestly, I didn't sleep for a week, and it was just a
Super
massive
stressful.
headache. Yeah, and it ends up costing you in the long run too.
Massive.
So we freed up his future.
Yeah, happy days.
Yeah.
Let him go.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah, well, it's fire fast, hire slow.
Yep.
Yeah. So where was your revenue when you kicked off? We were sitting about monthly, about 30K a month, something like that?
Yeah, if that.
Yep, okay. And what are you hitting nowadays?
We are consistently between the 82 and 85 at the moment. We hit the big 100K at the beginning of the year, which was like, I did like a little dance
Happy
when
dance.
I finished my invoicing. I got up and Brad was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, we hit 100K. That was just an amazing feeling, like for being so small and doubling in size over COVID and what's been a really, shit year for us as a family and things like that, it's been amazing.
Killer.
Yeah.
Nice job. So let's talk about what are the results of the changes you've made. What have they been for you, for your business, and for your family as well?
I work a lot more.
Yeah.
Changes.
We're still finding our way. Like we've got to find someone to sort of move into Amelia's role, because while we're here today, we've just let one's at tech, luckily, 3 guys just sort of on their own with a virtual assistant to sort of guide them through. But yeah, so stuff like that we need to sort that out, because I'm thinking her role's key. Like we just need to push someone in there to that role, and then Amelia can sort of create another role. But it sort of frees up a bit more family time as well.
100%.
So that's
Making more
important
money.
to us. Yeah,
Making more money helps, but
Yeah.
hopefully we'll be able to spend it when we can go on holiday.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So what have you learned about your margins and where were you sitting with that stuff, if you know where you were, and how does it look now?
Yeah. So Brad was kind of just pricing stuff on like a fixture price rate that was, I kept saying to him, it's too low. And he's like, I can't charge any more than that. And then we started doing the back costing and using Fergus and everything, and we realised that we were actually underquoting on the hours and overinflating materials based on like worst case scenario. And so the materials had a big margin, but we turned it around and I said to him, I think we need to allocate more hours, labour hours, to cover, if things go wrong, and drill down on the materials a little bit more. And in turn, what that has done over the last 3 projects that we've just finished, we would have sat maybe 32 to 35% GP, and both of those jobs, 3 of those jobs have just ended up at like 52%, and the other one was at 45%. And they were difficult jobs that, they had extra things go on in them, and we had extra visits, just realising that, making sure that you've got your hours right in those jobs, and we wouldn't have known that had we not gone back and done all that back costing. We just would have kept trucking along and being like, fuck, why are we only making 30%?
Yeah, back costing is the key to.
Yeah.
business.
And our maintenance stuff, we increased our service fee and dropped it down to the first half hour. I mean, Auckland traffic, we're travelling much longer than that, 15 minutes now, and price of fuel and everything. So yeah,
there's little or no pushback in those departments as well. Like people just accept what's going on. So it's
Cool.
seems to work.
So you talked about mindset. So what are some of the mindset shifts that you've had to make along the way?
Probably stop, take a deep breath, have a think about things, cool off, and then come back to it. That was a big thing for me because I was sweating the small stuff and getting really wound up about why aren't the guys loading their hours on the day when they finish their job and things like that. So that's my mindset for that has made things much easier, and I'm not as stressed out, and I don't let things slide, but I don't get all wound up about it like I did. And also just letting go a little bit. I'm struggling with that. Having the control in the office, I've been pushing back on getting an administrator, but realising that can't carry on, otherwise I'm going to burn out. So
who's saying letting go? That's been a big one for me, and that's learnt from this group as well, from guys that are doing it better than I am, is letting go, because that seemed to be the common thread running through. That the sooner you can sort of trust you guys just to step up and do the job that you know they can do, it's just it's pretty empowering, because it's good to see them do it. Like we've still got a way to go, because I've got one guy in particular that just niggles away at me, and just it's almost like I'm trying to let him take the reins, but he just doesn't want to do it. So it's trying to let him know that, look, you know what the answer is to that question, but he just always has to just double check. But it's another phone
it's not
call.
a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not always a bad thing, but it's trying to wean him off there.
Yeah, who else has a double checker?
That makes me feel better.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Hey, team, really appreciate you sharing. That's amazing. If you've got some questions, or you have a question for, for Brad and Amelia, I'd love to know. If you're online, if you're an Oni, just write question into the chat, and Damo can unmute you. And if you're an innie, just put your hand up if you've got a question, because I would love to field a couple of questions. Go to the mic there, Hamish, please.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what was the return on investment for your marketing? You said it didn't really cost you that much. Did you notice a significant jump in the amount of jobs you were getting off that marketing, or was it just slow and gradual?
It's been slow and gradual from probably August last year, and they basically said to me, look, you can go and spend all this money on AdWords, but I believe you've got a good enough website, and then the content that you want to put together, we can actually create more of an organic amount of leads. And I was like, sweet, less money, more money for me. I'm happy with that. But $600 a month for them to do all of that kind of thing, and maybe $150 to $200 in AdWords if it's needed. We've increased from that, $50,000 a month turnover to the 85 with, one extra person since January. And the amount of leads that we're getting and quoting, which are all stuff that's going to be coming along at the end of the year. I haven't done the numbers because I kind of struggle with that. I kind of go off the amount of leads. Our conversion rate is pretty high. There's not many jobs that we would turn away or not get.
Yeah, thanks. Awesome, Ryan. Great question. Hamish.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of Google My Business and Review You. Have you overcome that problem when you send the invitation out to clients to do a review and they haven't got a Google login? And the problem is that tends to stop people who are not that sophisticated from leaving a review.
Yep. Just the other day, actually, and a lovely lady phoned me up and she said, I'm really worried. I've tried to do this review for you and I can't get in. And I'm like, okay. Haven't overcome it. I just asked them if they'll put it in an email to me and if they would mind me putting it on Facebook.
Yes.
And we actually use those written email reviews with our team. And so when I get one of those and we have a catch up with them, I print them out and we have a chat about them, and there's a bit of a competition going on within the team and who gets mentioned as much in the reviews. I'm winning. So, I'm like, come on guys, and they ask for them when they're at a job. But yeah, I don't know if there is yet a
No,
way.
I've raised it with the company and said, look, we need to overcome this because that's the roadblock to your program being successful.
Yep.
The other thing too is I've added a staff member, a KPI, to actually collect a certain number of reviews by Christmas.
Yep.
And it just keeps them focused on it.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Sure.
yeah. And people love having a say,
Yeah.
you know, and they love to know that they've actually helped you in a way too. And there's nothing better and more empowering to talk to your team and say, hey, man, this is awesome. You've done a great job, especially when they're a difficult client.
100%. Yeah, that's super good.
Yeah.
We have
Jenny
any other
Byrne, do you want to jump in with your question?
Yeah, Jenny. Hey, Jen.
Brad, this one's for you. You say, about trusting your guys to do the job. A question, and I'm going to give the answer to Jason this one because he doesn't have that full trust in his guys. He doesn't want to let go. He's always want to, do it himself. So what did you do or change to enable you to trust your guys?
I think it was just learning their skill set, and once I knew what they were capable of, it wasn't hard. Like I said, it was. I didn't want to make the same mistake that everyone else has made along the way. So it's just learning from someone else, and I've just accepted that and thought, look, they know plumbing. I know what they're capable of. They know what I like, and it's just trusting them to do that. I think you have to. If you don't, it's just another roadblock in the way. And like I said, I've been the biggest roadblock to stopping us grow, and now I've let that go. It's just carrying on with that.
And if he didn't, Jenny, he'd still be on the bloody tools and no one would be in the office. I'd be doing all the quoting. It's not ideal.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
great question.
Well, I think we're getting there, so I'm going to
Keep working on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
work on them hard.
When he gets home from being on the job today.
Oh, yeah. Bugger.
What's that about? All right, cool. Taz, one more question.
So in terms of you being an absolute machine at creating systems, because I don't know if anyone knows you here, but you are a machine at it and you've helped us massively. What do you think the reason for not getting an admin person in to help you out? Because Brad has taken this massive leap. What do you think's holding you back?
Good question.
You win.
I love it.
It's total control, but I've realised that that's going to be my first job when we get back because we've got school holidays next week and I'm going to take the kids off to Queenstown and I'm still going to have to work, so that's probably a big punishment. But yeah, I never thought I'd have trouble handing over the reins, but I have. So it's me. It's totally. I've got the job ad written up and everything. I just haven't put it in stuff. So yeah, you guys can all ride me next week
Yeah, we'll
when I
kick your butt next
haven't
week.
done it. Yeah, I know it will be life changing. So yeah, and probably the money. Dare I say it? I'm like, I've got to take a hit.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Yep. So it's me. Thanks, Taz.
Yeah. Free
David
coaching
Duray,
by
do you want
Taz.
to jump in, mate? You might be a bit kinder on her.
But what was the major thing you focused on to get your margins up? Was it bringing your prices up? Was it cost of labor, type of project you accept, bring your overhead down? Was there one specific thing or was there? One specific thing or was there?
It was probably a multitude of things. We don't have a huge overheads because we run our office out of home under our house, and that was an awesome thing that we did over lockdown because it made life way easier. But labour utilisation has probably been one of my biggest things, and the boys sort of say to me, Amelia, sometimes we just can't help it, and I'm like, you can always help it, and you just need to be a bit more organised. I do a lot of that work in the office too. I do a lot of pre-job information. I get photos and I find out what mixer they've got and what cartridge they might need, and supply's such a shit here at the moment that we can be taking 5 days to get a cartridge. So rather than my boys wasting time going to site, if I can then order those cartridges in and then they just scoot past and pick them up. The other thing as well was putting our prices up and dropping our first hour down to our first half hour, and that made a massive difference. Our maintenance work sits at about 55 to 75%. for maintenance work. And that, I love maintenance, and I'm like, bring it on, and we get project work, and I'm like, oh God, project work, because it's so hard to schedule any of that sort of stuff. So a mix of changing from mainly renovations to having renovations and maintenance has definitely increased our margin overall.
Yeah. Great question, Dave. Appreciate that. Nice job. All right, team. Good job. Great work. Let's show these guys some love. 3, 2, 1.